This bird's babies are born with claws on their wings, like a dinosaur. It smells like a barnyard. Its flight is short, heavy, and awkward compared with almost any other bird. And it has evolved a digestive system unlike almost anything else with feathers. Scientists still debate exactly where it belongs on the bird family tree, and the more they study it, the stranger its story gets. In 1776, a German zoologist named Statius Müller became the first to formally describe this bird. In the 2.5 centuries since, ornithologists still haven't fully agreed on where its closest relatives sit. At different points, it's been linked to cuckoos, then turacos, the fruit-eating birds of Africa, then game birds like pheasants. Then, once DNA sequencing arrived, doves and pigeons. In 2014, a large genome mapping project proposed yet another possibility: cranes and plovers. That placement remains debated. Genetic analysis suggests this lineage split from other birds around 65 million years ago, roughly when non-avian dinosaurs went extinct. Today it sits in its own scientific order, Opisthocomiformes. In other words, this entire branch of the bird family tree has only one living member. Out of roughly 11,000 bird species alive today, the Hoatzin stands almost entirely alone in how it digests food. It eats almost nothing but leaves, tough, fibrous, and loaded with compounds most animals can't break down. Inside its chest, an oversized crop ferments those leaves using bacteria, the same basic strategy a cow's rumen uses, just evolved independently, inside a bird. That crop takes up so much space, there's barely room left for flight muscle, which is exactly why the Hoatzin flies like this. Short, heavy, awkward. Covering even a few meters takes real effort. That same fermentation process produces a strong, manure-like smell, the source of its nickname across the region, the stink bird. That smell has long been associated with why local hunters show little interest in eating it. For a bird surrounded by predators in a crowded ecosystem, being unpleasant may carry its own advantages. Now here's the detail that made this bird famous in evolutionary biology textbooks worldwide. Every Hoatzin chick is born with two small, sharp, functional claws on each wing. No other living bird retains anything like this. The resemblance immediately reminds scientists of Archaeopteryx, an ancient bird-like dinosaur that also carried wing claws roughly 150 million years ago. But the Hoatzin isn't a living Archaeopteryx, and it isn't a direct descendant. It's less a family heirloom and more a striking evolutionary echo. Using those claws, chicks can climb through branches with real confidence, long before they've grown a single flight feather. Hoatzin nests are built directly over water for a reason. When a predator gets close, the chicks don't wait. They jump. They drop straight out of the nest, hit the water, and swim. They paddle to the bank, hide, and wait. Then they climb back, hand over hand, wing over wing, using those same claws to return toward the nest they escaped from. Within a few months, as flight feathers grow in, the claws disappear. For a brief window early in life, every Hoatzin is part swimmer, part climber, part living echo of a much older story. If you heard this sound without seeing the animal, you might guess monkey, reptile, or something stranger. That's the Hoatzin. They live in small family groups, spanning several generations. Older siblings often help raise the newest chicks instead of breeding themselves. Approach a colony by boat, and you'll hear them before you see them. A chorus of hisses, grunts, and wheezing chuffs, closer to agitated primates than to anything with feathers. Fossil evidence of Hoatzin-like birds has turned up not in South America, but in Africa and Europe. So how did its ancestors reach a continent it can't fly to today? One hypothesis: ancient relatives rafted across the Atlantic on floating mats of vegetation, carried by ocean currents, before reaching land on the other side. It's a hypothesis, not confirmed history, but if it holds up, Today's Hoatzins descend from one of the more improbable journeys in evolutionary history. Today, the Hoatzin is classified as a species of least concern, found across the Amazon and Orinoco basins. Its unpleasant smell has likely helped it avoid the hunting pressure that's affected other Amazonian birds. But its survival is tied to one specific habitat: waterways lined with dense, overhanging vegetation. When those river forests disappear, the Hoatzin loses the habitat it depends on, with limited ability to adapt to what replaces it. 65 million years ago, while most bird lineages kept evolving into the 11,000 species alive today, this one took a different path. It evolved a fermentation system unlike almost any other bird. It kept functional wing claws through its earliest weeks of life, and it never became a particularly capable flyer.